You guys, this is a weekend of testimonies. So I had to go back up to the town where I had just moved from to grab some more items, and I met a modern day John the Baptist. We all relate to the Bible characters somehow in some way, but this was the true, modern day John the Baptist. I had gone back to my old apartment and somebody was getting rid of a desk, a kind of desk that I've always loved. And it was still in really good shape, excellent shape. It's pure wood, which is really hard to find nowadays without it being super expensive. And I wanted this desk so bad. So I sat there and I tried to figure out a way to get it in my car. And it wasn't a problem. I ended up needing help. And so I sat there and I asked God to send me help. And several of the people that I had known as neighbors just walked by me without a second, without any consideration, and just kind of looked at me. Then this man, who obviously was what we say homeless, I'm going to change my term later, walked up to me and asked, "Do you need help?" I said, "Absolutely." And he tried getting it into my car, and it was just too wide for my car. Okay, it was just slightly too wide for my car, barely. And he said, "I'll go into my friend's house and get some tie downs and we can tie it down on top." And he left. While he was gone, I was sitting there thinking about it, looking at it, and the idea of going to the U-Haul place a few blocks away came to mind. But I'm like, I really don't want to leave this piece, right? This is a really good piece that it's going to be taken as soon as I leave it. So I stayed with it, and I felt like just to trust that guy would come back. I just needed to trust that. And so I trusted that he would come back, and sure enough, very shortly after, he came back and he said, "I couldn't find a tie down. I'm so sorry." And I said, "It's okay. Do you mind watching it while I go grab a U-Haul, go rent something from U-Haul, a trailer from U-Haul?" And he goes, "Absolutely." And I told him I'd pay for it, and he's like, "I will guard this with my life." So I go back and I get a pickup truck from U-Haul in order to take this furniture. And when I get back, he's there and he's watching it, and he helps me load it into the car. Well, I gave him the money. It was about $40 because I felt like I needed to give him a lot, and I just appreciated him so much. I just had such an appreciation in my heart for what he was doing in that moment. And I gave it to him. I'm like, I hope this is enough for you to recognize how much I appreciate you right now. And he looked at it and he nearly started crying. He goes, "I appreciate you. You don't understand what a blessing this really is." And we got into a 3-hour discussion about God and the Bible. Now, his faith isn't really, really super strong yet, but he's there. He's already, his heart is so soft towards God. And you can tell he loves the ways of God, and he loves the character of God. And, he's there. And he told me his story, you guys. He's married. He's been married for 3 years. They're still married. And he raised 3 kids, and he was part of normal society, right? He had his house. He had owned 2 businesses, but he and his wife chose to go into this lifestyle because he's like, when I was in this lifestyle, I couldn't give the way I wanted to. When everything else bogged me down, and I couldn't give the way I wanted to. All I want to do is give back, and I want to show people kindness. I want to show people that there are other good people in this world. We see so much negative. But the way he was doing it was all of God's character. It was all of God. And we just continued to talk, and we fed into each other. And we were able to just sit there and appreciate one another. And I told him, I'm like, you're going to be a testimony that is going to help people not be so judgmental. You're going to be a testimony that you can look this way and not be the stereotype of what they think you are. And he wants to go back to church, and I told him, I'm like, just don't let the judgment of others like scare you away. And I explained some of what I have learned when it comes to other Christians or, you know, other people. And I said, it's something for them to deal with. It's not you. And he goes, yeah, I agree with you there. And I was like, just go back to church. He wanted to go to a church where they're lively in the worship and they dance and they move. And I told him of a couple churches. And we'll just say God is still definitely doing a great work in him. And towards the end of the conversation, John the Baptist came to mind. We were about to walk away, and I'm like, I have one, like, it's kind of like I want to say one more thing. And I was reminding him once again, don't let anyone judge you wrong, because even John the Baptist didn't look like us or walk in society like us. You know, he calls himself, this is the term that I wanted to change, he calls himself an outsider, and he calls people who live in houses four-wallers, and that's not negative. It's just because he doesn't associate with the homeless mindset that is around this town, right? Most of them are mentally ill. Most of them are drug addicts. There's a lot of most of them that choose to be homeless but only want it for free stuff and to be lazy. He's not being lazy. He's working hard. He's helping others. He's not bumming off of anyone. Like, I chose to give. He says many, many people have chose to give to him, and I believe that's God's blessings being reaped back onto him. And I told him that because he's choosing to give first, and he's not living the typical bum lifestyle that is around this town. And I told him, I'm like, it came to mind John the Baptist. And I'm like, remember, John the Baptist lived in the wilderness with eating locusts and honey, with animal skins as his clothing. I'm sure he had matted hair and looked more towards you, and he didn't take that offensively because he understood. With the whole conversation we had been through, I was comfortable enough to say that to him. And I'm like, he probably looked more like you, but he did great things for God, and God's really blessed him for that. His heart was for God. You're going to do great things for God. And I feel that. I truly feel that in my spirit, that he was a modern day John the Baptist, and he is going to be breaking mindsets off of people of what they believe others should look like or how they should walk or what they should do. Because that's one thing that we Christians also get so wrapped up about is criticizing somebody by their looks. You know, God looks at the heart, but we look on the outward appearance. So just be careful of that, you guys. Don't assume everyone you meet, no matter how they look or how you believe they should live, isn't the way they're living, is the same. Because you have no idea where God has them or what they're doing or where their heart is at. Just remember, even biblical characters, we all can pull a small piece from them all, but some people are truly living out the lives of them. John the Baptist, once again, was homeless. He was dirty. He was gross. He ate locusts and honey. But he did great things for God, and that is the most important thing. And since I have one more minute on this video, throw in one more thing. Have discernment when God brings people into your lives. You have to have God and the Spirit leading you into these things, because, yes, we are jaded by homeless people that are violent, that are mentally ill, that are cruel, that are run by demons. I know I've been jaded by them, but God's had to teach me how to walk in a way that I am led by His Spirit on who I am to be safe and comfortable with, and who I am to be wary of, and how to handle a situation. I am led by Him on who to give money to and who to give food to, and on who to call to or move away from. We are not always meant to help everybody if they choose to follow the devil and not God. we are not always meant to help them.